Welcome to the 2023 J.R. Kantor Awards ceremony and honors reception. It's my pleasure to introduce you on behalf of the Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences. My name is Bill Hetrick. I happen to have the privilege of serving as the chair of the department and will be one of the hosts for tonight's events. It's really a great pleasure for our department to recognize our most accomplished students, and those are the students that are here. As a professor, there's really nothing more gratifying to me than working with young people, young scientists, being surrounded by these individuals that are bright, inquisitive, hardworking, and successful. And I think we see from our poster session today just how much success has been imparted. Specifically, the knowledge that has been gained through the classroom instruction, through the laboratory experiences, has really instilled some amazing values, in large part because of the hard work that you've engaged in. Those values include things like understanding now how science works, or the ability to ask a critically important question and to think logically about it, to create a hypothesis that you can test, and to conduct research that will essentially answer that hypothesis, to communicate clearly, and to play an active role in the process through which science is communicated by presenting your ideas both to your professional colleagues but also to lay individuals such as we have here tonight. The hands-on laboratory experiences on which these scientific posters that we saw were based are an example of one of the richest and most powerful educational experiences we have. It's an engaged form of learning that puts you right at the center of that discovery, and I'm very proud of what you guys have done. Very, very proud of the work that we saw here tonight. As students, you've experienced firsthand now how new scientific ideas develop and take shape, and most importantly, how research leads to understanding. One of my favorite quotes about the scientific process comes from the late cosmologist Carl Sagan. He said, "Scientists do not seek to impose their needs and wants on nature, but instead humbly interrogate nature, take seriously what they find. We understand human imperfection, and because of that, we insist on independent and, to the extent possible, quantifiable verification of proposed tenets of our beliefs. We are constantly prodding, challenging, seeking contradictions or small, persistent residual errors. And we are looking for alternative hypotheses and encouraging heresy." I like that ending, encouraging heresy, because what we're asking you to do is to question long-held assumptions, both assumptions that we have in our field of study, but also to take this forward and question assumptions that surround us, to question dogma and to question authority. And science is an absolutely terrific tool in order to do that in a very systematic way. So my deep hope for you, as I think about what you've gone through, is that this intimate exposure to the scientific method has established a firm foundation for each of you for a lifelong commitment to an evidence-based, empirical, epistemological view. Your idea of what knowledge is and what knowledge can do, that epistemology, I'm hoping, is more evidence-based and more informed by the empirical process that you've gone through. Those of you who are being honored tonight for teaching, I hope that your experiences in teaching have instilled an appreciation for the critical role that instruction plays in the advancement of knowledge. I hope you understand the role that you've played in sparking lifelong interest in knowledge dissemination, knowledge acquisition amongst those faculty that you've worked with and amongst those students that you've served. It's really the case that I don't know of another honor or privilege or responsibility that's greater than instruction and teaching. That is to teach people to engage their curiosity, to sharpen their thinking, to be excited about what they learn, and to be humbled by what we find out. This is what it means to be an instructor, to be a teacher. It's remarkable when we think about the importance of teaching because knowledge is passed on from generation to generation. We often focus on the fact that genes are what we pass on, but our ideas are passed on. We sometimes refer to these as memes. And education is a process by which we pass on our knowledge. Some of you parents in the room have passed on your ways of thinking, not just your genes, but your way of thinking, your way of approaching life. And for those of you, again, involved in instruction, I hope you understand the everlasting role that that instructional process plays. I like the way that Henry Brooks Adams, a 19th century American historian, put it about teaching, and I'll paraphrase: a teacher affects eternity. They can never tell where their influence ends. And for those of you who've been involved heavily in the instructional part, I hope you appreciate that. There is probably no greater honor or privilege or responsibility than teaching. I say that, of course, as an academic myself, but this is the way in which our societies work, is by teaching and fostering the next generation of individuals. So whether tonight you're being honored for your great work in the lab or your great work in the classroom, it is my pleasure to, on behalf of our faculty in the Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences, congratulate you as an honoree, congratulate you as family members and loved ones on the accomplishments of the honorees that we're going to celebrate tonight. So please join me in congratulating the individuals that we'll celebrate tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Dale Singelob. Dr. Dale Singelob is the director of the Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences Honors Program, and he is in his 22nd year in serving in this role, and we are deeply grateful for that, as I know the students are, or will be when they get through the process. We're very, very grateful for Dale's work in this project. Dale will be stepping in on behalf of Dr. Preston Garrity to announce some of the awards and present the awards from the department. Dale.
Let's see here. All right. So as Bill said, I'm actually pinch hitting for Preston Garrity. So please bear with me as I stumble through this. So this is the portion of the program where we recognize excellence in research by our undergraduates in the department through a variety of prizes. Hopefully these are in the correct order. Or not. Okay, that's good. Well, just bear with me. Okay, so first up is the J.R. Kantor Prize. That's this one, which is not signed. The Kantor Prize recognizes outstanding psychology students. It is named after Jacob Kantor, who was a well-known and very influential member of our department, what, for 50 years?
Long time.
Long time. Back in the early 1909, I think he started, something like that. It's crazy. Anyway, Kantor pioneered a naturalistic system in psychology, and this prize is known for him. So our first award goes to, please forgive me if I butcher your name, Sanjana Puthigai. This is not signed yet by Dr. Garrity, so okay. You can have, if you like, the misspelled version.
Yes, that is misspelled, but that is okay.
That's why we're replacing it. So
okay.
Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you
and
so much.
And don't forget your bling. Oh, we have a bling presenter. Look at that.
Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you. Okay, this should be correct, and it is. Okay. Next up is the Cheryl Burnham Buhler Award, which recognizes an outstanding senior in psychology. This award was named after an undergraduate, a BA in psychology with honors, Cheryl Buhler, who got her degree in 1967. She was admitted to graduate school the following fall, but unfortunately she died in October of that year, and so this award was established in her memory. The award this year goes to one of my favorite students, Joules Emerson.
Thank
your prize and your bling.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's full.
Not so fast. Thanks, Jordan.
We know how much you love it.
Okay, that is not next. that award. Okay. The next award is the James A. Dinsmoor Award. Dr. Dinsmoor was in fact here when I first started, back in 1986 when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Dr. Dinsmoor was a very long-time member of the department. He is best known for his cognitivist interpretation of conditioned reinforcement. The award this year goes to Ellie Hine. Your certificate, madam, and your blame. Next up is the David A. Barkmeier Neuroscience Award. This award was established by Dr. Barkmeier, who was an alum, it was an undergraduate of ours. He went on to have a faculty position and a very distinguished career at Northwestern, where he's known to be passionate about his research as well as for teaching. So the award this year goes to Sarah Greenwell. Does not appear. We'll put this aside with the appropriate bling for Sarah. Okay. Next up, and that is not correct. And that's correct. Okay. We got it. Okay, next up, the Sidney Marie Brotheridge Neuroscience Scholarship. So this award was established in memory of Sidney. She worked in Jonathan Crystal's lab here in our department. And she's best known for working with these incredibly large rats known as hero rats, who are used to literally sniff out landmines. So, yeah, I see gasps. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so this award goes to Irene Choi. Congratulations. There you go. Okay, so now, I'm going to save this one for later.
Okay.
Because now I'm in charge, I can do anything I want. Great. Okay, so on that, okay, so this gets us into these awards now. Okay, that's Bentz. Okay, we got it. Okay, moving on, I'm going to skip one, so ignore the program. We're going to do the Sharon Stevens Brehm Excellence in Research Awards. These recognize excellence in psychological research. Dr. Brehm was, in fact, a former chancellor here at IU. She was also a colleague in our department, and she was also the president of the American Psychological Association. So, we have several of these to give out. First up is Marium Ansari. Who's invisible tonight? Okay, so thank you. Hannah Bentz. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Logan Gillenwater.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Kiara Moore. Didn't make it. Okay. Izett Murphy. I know you're here. Welcome. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, that's the last one. And the last of the Brehm prizes is for Noah Moore. Get your bling.
Oh, this is heavy.
He's on to us. All right. Okay. I will now turn over the program to Brian Olson, our Director of Undergraduate Teaching Assistant Program, but I will be back. So, Brian.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Olson, and I am the director of the Undergraduate Teaching Assistant Program here at IU. I've been running the program for about 5 years now, and I've gotten to know hundreds of UTAs in the process, which is fantastic. It's the favorite part of my job. Believe it or not, I was a UTA here 15 years ago, and I've now come full circle after graduate school and everything, so maybe one of these winners one year will come here when I retire. You never know. Anyway, so we have 2 undergraduate teaching awards this year that have 2 recipients each. The first award is the Robert Weiskopf Award. Robert Weiskopf was a lecturer here in the early 2000s. He was very well known. Students loved his classes, especially his abnormal psychology class. That one filled up super quick, and it was very difficult to get into, and he passed away in 2007 very suddenly, and this award was created in his honor. So the first recipient of this award is Kristin Dillon. All right, so luckily each of these UTAs, the instructor who nominated them told me a couple awesome things about them I just want to share with you really quickly. So Kristin Dillon, she was nominated by Dr. Christy DeBoeuf. Kristin Dillon has been a UTA in her neuroscience class for 4 semesters now. She has worked with her through many different types of classes and strange situations. During her first semester when Dr. DeBoeuf went on maternity leave, she helped a smooth transition to make the course fully online for the last few weeks. This year, she's taken on a veteran role in training the new UTA who is replacing her. She has held many review sessions. She sent many late-night emails to answer students and calm their anxiety. She's been very helpful at reminding Dr. DeBoeuf of her deadlines and tasks. And she specifically said that Kristin was a great UTA for neuroscience because a couple of years ago, Kristin never thought she could have seen herself as a UTA for neuroscience. She's a clinical or a counseling track student, so that wasn't really her area of forte, but she excelled in it, did great, and understands the material super well now, and Dr. DeBoeuf thinks it's helped make her very approachable to a lot of students who may be intimidated by the more intense, anxiety-provoking material in that class. So congratulations, Kristin. All right, and the next Robert Weiskopf Award is for Christina Hyde. There you go. So Christina Hyde has been at UTA for 3 semesters here at IU, and she has actually been working with me for the past year as our head UTA, so she is responsible with me for keeping track of the, what do we have, 68 UTAs in total in this department, making sure that all their work is getting done, they're submitting everything they need to, that there's no issues from the instructors, so it's a lot of logistics to keep track of. She goes through 68 logs every single week and makes sure that there's nothing going up, so it's a lot of reading and stuff to keep track of. She's been very great at always reaching out if there's more that she can do. Being the head UTA definitely has a lot of requirements that come with it. And she has excelled in every single one of them. It's been great to have someone that I can implicitly trust and say, hey, here's something I need you to do, and know that she's going to do it, and I don't have to worry about it not getting done or it being done incorrectly. So I'm very much going to miss her. Congratulations, Christina. All right, so the second award is the Phillip M. Summers Award, and this recognizes the outstanding contributions of a new UTA. So These next UTAs, the only real difference is they were hired this year instead of last year. But this award was also created in the memory of a professor that worked here, Dr. Summers. He is the former president, or was the former president of Vincennes University, and he would drive out here twice a week, once a semester all the way from Vincennes to teach a P101 class. A class that he only would allow freshmen to enroll in because he wanted to help introduce them to college, to university, the traditions of IU. He'd have the cheerleaders come in and teach them the fight song every semester. He would do, when they were talking about like hunger and motivation, he would bring Burger King for everyone. There was a bunch of remarkable things that he did. So his class was very, very popular. He passed away in 2012, around there, maybe, let's say about 10 years ago. But this award was created in his honor, and I feel very fortunate because when I was a UTA, I was actually his UTA for 2 years, so I got to know him very, very well. So I'm glad this award exists for him. So the first winner of this award is Eden Forman. So Eden was nominated by Irene Vlahos-Weber, who is a lecturer here in the department. She has been working with her since the beginning of this academic year as her UTA, or head UTA for her Psych 101 class. Irene teaches a 400-person class every semester, and with 400 students, it's a lot to keep track of. She has 4 UTAs, and then Eden helps manage those 4 UTAs, so it's a lot to organize and wrangle. I'm starting to ramble, so. Irene mentioned that Eden was fantastic because she would meet and anticipate the needs of Irene before Irene knew she needed them. So if any of you know who Irene is, she can be kind of forgetful sometimes. And Eden was fantastic at knowing before something was a crisis, hey, we got to deal with this and solve the problem. She also was fantastic at helping out with the class every single day. Eden would go to the class with her. She was always there early. Irene never had to check in and make sure that Eden was coming. She was always there early. She helped coordinate all of the other UTAs and their responsibilities for that class, helped the grading and the managing and the questions that come from 400 students in a 101 class. And Irene specifically said that Eden has the highest work ethic that she has ever seen in one of her UTAs. And she is very happy because she's always comes in with a positive attitude and never, ever complains. She's always in a good mood. So congratulations. And then the last summer's award goes to Sanjana Puthigai. Oh, I guess you don't get 2. Right, so Sanjana was nominated by Dr. Kendra Bunner, who is a lecturer here in our department. She has been her UTA for her P346 Introduction to Neuroscience class since for this semester. She's been a UTA for an entire year, but she just got to work with Dr. Bunner this spring semester, and they have been a fantastic mesh for one another. Dr. Bunner said that Sanjana is able to always think on her feet. She's very responsible. She's able to handle a variety of student needs. And some specific examples is that Sanjana held her office hours in the evening, specifically to be more available to the students in the class. She held them either in Zoom or in person. The students, whichever one was easier for them, she would meet them in that particular way. Dr. Bunner would have the students always tell them to email her and Sanjana. Sanjana was great at responding to lots of student emails about basic questions about class structure or the material to reduce Dr. Bunner's workload. That is a large class in neuroscience. You get lots and lots of questions. And Sanjana was able to answer all the questions. Dr. Bunner trusted her with the material. She knew she got it right. She could explain it very well and never had to worry about any sort of explanation going wrong when she talked to a student. Dr. Buhler said she trusted Sanjana implicitly 100% when it came to those office hours, as well as grading 120 exams every few weeks. She would grade them, and Dr. Buhler would know that she got them back, and they would all be done correctly and did not need to look them over. And she specifically said that Sanjana is able to explain the material in neuroscience as accurately as a professor of neuroscience would be able to. So, way to go, Sanjana. Congratulations. All right, so that concludes the teaching awards. So I'm going to hand it back to Dale Singelov, who's going to wrap up with the award he saved for this last minute.
Indeed. I warned you I'd be back. Okay, so this is a clever transition from the awards part of the program to the honors program. So we're going to give out one more award. This is the Excellence in Honors Thesis Research Award. This is an award that recognizes students in the honors program who have done an exemplary thesis. So this year, the award goes to Nia Bailey. So moved. So, Nia, I'm really not a tyrant. It's not. So Nia worked with Dr. Amanda Diekman. Her thesis investigated the potential reasons behind racial disparities in foreign language learning, and I was fortunate enough to be on the committee myself. So it was a terrific thesis. So thank you, Nia. Okay, so now to the honors part. So it is sincerely my distinct pleasure to be the director of the undergraduate honors program. As Bill said, I've been at this now for 22 years, and I wouldn't have missed a moment of it. I've overseen 426 honors theses. Not that I'm counting, but I am in fact counting, because I love to look back through that Excel spreadsheet and remember all of those students. It's just terrific. Anyway, I always say this at this event. This is, in my opinion, the single best teaching assignment in the department. I love teaching this class. And the reason is because the material never gets stale. Every year it's new because I have a new crop of students. I know a little bit about what all my colleagues do, and so I can kind of sort of figure out the basis of the honors thesis. But every once in a while, one comes through that I have no idea, and so the tables are turned, and I become the student. And I actually have to go and read up on this stuff so I can help the student through this class. It's actually kind of fun. I've learned all kinds of new and fascinating things, to be sure. The best part, of course, is I get to work with, let's face it, among the best and the brightest of our psychology and neuroscience students. So it's just so much fun. It's so rewarding. And every year, the class starts out as this random collection of people who are all terrified about doing their honors thesis, and it turns into this cohesive cohort where they support each other, they help each other, they ask questions of each other. They're just great. Is that true, honors students, or what? See? Yeah, sure. Okay. She's still in shock. She had her honors thesis defense yesterday. I was also on that committee. That's, yeah. But we thought it was great. She was like, oh my God, they're going to kill me. But we didn't kill her. Anyway, this class has been typical in all the usual respects, including the usual, oops, too late discovery that there's this confound we really didn't know was there, and we really have crummy control groups. There are the uninterpretable results, that's standard. But best of all, there are the unexpected findings. In fact, Nia's thesis is a great example of that. It came out exactly the opposite of what she had in fact hypothesized. And that, for me, is just the best thing about science. Taking a cue from Bill, he was giving you excellent quotes on science and teaching. My favorite quote in science comes from Isaac Asimov, famous science fiction writer. and quite the scientist himself. Asimov quotes that the best words to hear in science are not, "Eureka, I found it," but rather, "Huh, that's funny." And for me, that defines my scientific career right there. Moving right along. Typical of this class has been also in the fact that there's always the constantly moving thesis topic, changed from month to month. You know I'm talking about you, Logan. But the class was remarkable in other respects, however. As usual, the remarkable range of topics, but atypical in that what a range. It's always different. We've had everything from looking at sex differences in handwriting to the influence of conscious awareness on visual proprioceptive mismatches. I mean, it's just mind-boggling, the range that this class researches. It's fascinating. I love it. I wouldn't give it up for the world, so no change in my teaching assignment, Dr. All of this would not be possible without the contribution of our faculty sponsors, who contribute enormous amounts of time and resources in order to execute these theses. So I just want to thank my colleagues for being terrific advisors. Clearly, this couldn't have happened without you. I also want to thank Jillian and Jordan. Jordan, where's Jordan? He's right in front of me. For helping organize the program. It's great. Okay, so my central purpose tonight is to acknowledge the honors students. So, here we go. No drum rolls required. Okay, and this is good. Okay, so first up is Annie Aboyi. Annie worked with Dr. Karen James, and her thesis topics were sex differences in handwriting, attention, fine motor skills, and reading fluency. And this won't surprise the honors class. Yes, it's alphabetical. We do everything alphabetically. Next up, of course, alphabetical, Nia Bailey. Nia worked with Amanda Diekman, as I said earlier, looking at racial disparity in foreign language learning. Joules Emerson. Joules worked with Dr. Jack Bates. Her thesis was Toddler Pretend Play as an Antecedent to Preschoolers' Social Competence. Logan Gillenwater. Logan worked with Dr. Brian D'Onofrio. His thesis examined fetal growth and impulsive traits. Okay, that's correct. Anna Shao. She gets blamed. Anna. Anna worked with Hannah Block on the influence of conscious awareness on compensating for visual proprioceptive mismatches. Arghya Kashyap.
Thank you.
Arghya worked with Dr. Karen James. His thesis was on unisensory object recognition, haptics versus vision. And last but certainly not least, Izett Murphy. Izett worked with Dr. Amanda Diekman. Her thesis was on objectification and its effects on female college students' psychosocial outcomes. So, round of applause for my honors students. And honor students, don't disappear after the award ceremony is over. We need a group shot, photograph, so we're all going to do it right up here, okay? So bring your certificates and a smile. All right, so I'm going to turn it back over to our chair, Dr. Hedrick. And again, thank you.
All right, just to wrap it up, all at once, let's thank again Dale, the awards committee, and Brian Olson. So thank you guys very much. And then again, Jillian has done an outstanding job organizing this, Jordan for being here to document it, Doug for getting the people in Zoom involved. So thank you guys as well. All right, this is a chance for you, the awardees and honorees, to thank those who've supported you. I want to turn our attention as we close to family and loved ones and friends. Much of what we owe to our own successes is the community that's around us, the family members and the loved ones around us. So if you all wouldn't mind thanking those who are both present and not here to be with you, thanking them for their support. All right, so thank you very much. Really appreciate your attention and participation this evening. And again, congratulations to the individuals who celebrated tonight, and have a good evening. Thank you.